Hello, my friend, and welcome. I'm happy you are here today. Because what you're about to hear is not just a story. It's a small secret that can change your life. A secret so simple, yet so powerful. Let me ask you. How do you start your day? Do you wake up full of energy? Or do you hit snooze, close your eyes, and lose another hour? The truth is this. The way you start your morning decides the way you live your life. And today, I will show you how one habit, waking up early, turned my life from lazy and unmotivated to focused, disciplined, and powerful. This is not just my story. It can be your story too. So sit back, relax, and listen closely. Because this might be the morning you've been waiting for. For many years, I thought sleeping late was normal. I went to bed after midnight, sometimes at 2 or 3 a.m. And of course, I woke up late. At first, it felt good. The bed was warm. The world was quiet. I thought I was enjoying life. But the truth? I was losing life. When I woke up at 10 or 11, half the day was already gone. The sun was high. The world was moving. And I was still half asleep. I felt tired, lazy, and behind. I told myself, I'll do it later. But later never came. I wasted hours scrolling on my phone. I skipped important tasks. I always felt rushed. It was like living in a prison. A prison made of my own bed. One day, I looked in the mirror and said, "Is this really my life? Is this who I want to be?" That question hurt. But it was also the beginning of change. The change began with a story. One evening, I was reading about successful people. Not actors or singers, but leaders, thinkers, and builders. I discovered something surprising. They all had one habit in common. They woke up early. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, starts his day at 4:30 a.m. Oprah Winfrey wakes up before sunrise to meditate and plan. Even Benjamin Franklin, hundreds of years ago, wrote, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." I sat there in silence. Could it really be that simple? I thought. Maybe the problem is not my goals. Maybe the problem is my mornings. At that moment, something clicked. I realized that if I wanted to change my life, I had to change the way I started my day. It was time for a new beginning. The alarm rang at 6 a.m. My body screamed, "No. Just 5 more minutes." But I remembered my promise. I forced myself out of bed. The room was dark. The air was cold. And for a moment, I wanted to quit. But then, something magical happened. I opened the window. The sky was quiet. The city was still sleeping. And I felt free. For the first time in years, I was awake before the world. No noise. No stress. No rush. Just silence. I made a cup of tea. I wrote in my notebook. I even did a short workout. And by 8 a.m., I had already done more than I used to do in half a day. That morning changed me. It showed me what was possible. It showed me the power of an early start. The first day was hard. The second day was still hard. But after 1 week, something changed. I began to wake up before the alarm. My body felt lighter. My mind felt sharper. Every morning, I had 2 extra hours. 2 hours for reading, writing, planning, and exercise. 2 hours just for me. And the difference was incredible. I was no longer rushing. I was no longer late. I was no longer tired all the time. Instead, I felt in control. I felt disciplined. I felt proud. For the first time, I realized. Success is not built in one big moment. It's built in small daily choices. And the choice to wake up early was the most powerful one I had ever made. After 2 weeks of waking up early, I noticed something amazing. My productivity doubled. Before, I always said, I don't have time. But now, I had time. Time to read. Time to exercise. Time to learn English. In the morning, my brain was fresh. No messages. No emails. No noise. Just me and my focus. I started shadowing English for 15 minutes every morning. I read 1 page of a book. I listened to 1 short podcast. And guess what? I remembered everything more easily. Why? Because my mind was clear. Because my willpower was strong. Because mornings gave me energy. Waking up early didn't just change my schedule. It changed the way I learned, worked, and lived. Something unexpected happened after 1 month. Waking up early was no longer just a habit. It became a lesson in discipline. Every morning, when the alarm rang, I had 2 choices. Stay in bed, or stand up. And each time I stood up, I trained my willpower. I trained my mind to be stronger than my feelings. This power didn't stop in the morning. It followed me all day. I started eating healthier. I stopped wasting hours on social media. I worked on my goals with focus. I realized discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And every early morning was training for my future. I was no longer the lazy person I used to be. I was becoming someone new. Someone I always wanted to be. Before, I lived in chaos. I woke up late. I rushed everywhere. I felt like life was controlling me. But after 2 months of waking up early, I started to see life differently. Mornings gave me peace. They gave me time to think. They gave me space to dream. I wrote my goals every morning. At first, they were small. Read 1 book. Learn 10 new English words. But soon, they grew bigger. Start my own business. Travel the world. Speak English fluently with confidence. I realized something powerful. Life doesn't change in 1 day. It changes in daily steps. And early mornings gave me the time to take those steps. For the first time, I wasn't just existing. I was living. And I was moving toward the life I wanted. Of course, it was not always easy. Some mornings, I wanted to stay in bed. Some mornings, it was cold, dark, and lonely. Some mornings, my old habits whispered. Sleep more, just today. And yes, a few times I failed. I hit snooze. I closed my eyes. I went back to the old me. But here's the secret. Failure is not the end. Failure is part of the journey. Each time I failed, I asked myself, why did I start this in the first place? And the answer was always clear. Because I wanted a better life. Because I wanted to be stronger. Because I wanted to control my future. So I stood up again. I tried again. And little by little, the hard days became fewer. The strong days became more. That's how change really works. Not in a straight line. But in small steps forward, even after you fall. After 3 months of waking up early, my life was different. I was more focused. I was more disciplined. And I was more confident. I had finished 2 books. I had improved my English by practicing every morning. I even started a small project that I had been planning for years. People around me noticed. They asked, "Why do you have so much energy? How do you stay so motivated? The truth was simple. I was no smarter than before. I was no luckier than before. I just controlled my mornings. And when you control your mornings, you begin to control your life. I realized that success is not about talent. It's about habits. And my new habit, waking up early, was creating a new version of me. Now, my friend, this story is not only about me. It's about you. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you woke up 1 hour earlier every day? 1 extra hour for English. 1 extra hour for your goals. 1 extra hour for your health. It doesn't sound like much. But in 1 week, that's 7 extra hours. In 1 month, 30 extra hours. In 1 year, 365 hours. That's more than 2 full weeks of extra time. Just from one simple habit. Imagine what you could build with that time. Imagine the skills you could master. Imagine the life you could create. The choice is in your hands. Stay the same. Or rise earlier, and rise higher. Thank you, my friend, for listening to this story. I hope it gave you not just English practice, but also a new vision for your life. Remember, fluency in English and success in life are built the same way. Not in one giant step, but in small daily habits. And waking up early can be your first powerful habit. So don't wait. Start tomorrow. Rise with the sun. Use your mornings for growth, learning, and strength. And every day, you will move closer to the person you want to become. If you enjoyed this story, come back and listen again. Repeat the sentences. Shadow my voice. Make it part of your daily practice. Because your mornings are waiting. And so is your future. See you in the next story. Keep learning. Keep growing. And never forget. Wake up early. Change your life.